Stand with us on JLTV. I'm Roz Rothstein, and we have a very special surprise show for you today. We're here with Michael Dixon, director of our Israel office, and also Kfir&Michael, who is a special kind of superstar. I will just say that he's a Krav Maga expert and that he did something extraordinary in Israel, and that's why we flew him out, and he was featured at our last gala as a big surprise for everybody because of what he did. So there, the suspense is mounting, and so welcome back, Michael Dixon.
It's great to be with you.
And welcome, Kfir.
Thank you very much.
So where do we even begin? Let's talk a little bit about the problem that we have in Israel. So I know that Michael told us in one of our shows that he made Aliyah from the UK and he's living the dream with his children in Israel. But one of the things that we know everybody faces in Israel, unfortunately, is terrorism.
Of course, well, the terror threat is ever present, and we do carry on with our lives. But at the same time, we know we've had waves of terrorism, whether that's bus bombings or cafe bombings, bombings of public places, and other attacks. And then one of the most recent attacks was what they called the stabbing intifada, where Palestinian terrorists, Arab terrorists, would just find people on the street and stab them. And many, many people have been injured and unfortunately have died as a result.
So out of the blue, you could be sitting on a bus and God forbid, somebody could come up to an elderly person or whomever and attempt to stab someone. There have been a lot of attempts. The numbers are very high. Do you have the numbers? I think that
Well, they're in the hundreds. Since 2015, we've had over 250 people who've been injured as a result, and some of them are horrific injuries.
Yeah, and attempted murders also.
Of course.
So, it's been very rough. And I think Israelis are extraordinary in that they go on with their lives, as you say, but they're living with a certain kind of anxiety that they just learn to live with. It's a different kind of lifestyle. But again, it's the dream, so nobody runs away from it, but you love it.
Well, the Israelis are incredibly resilient, and that threat is ever there, unfortunately.
I know that even recently there was a stabbing, and this gentleman he's in the hospital now, right?
Yeah.
God willing, he'll recover, he'll be fine. But this is, the kind of terror that we have learned to live with. Us sitting here in America watching this and not being so surprised anymore, but just being horrified in an awful way, and you living with this kind of stress. Hopefully, God willing, one day this will stop and there will be peace. But seriously, this is...
They often call Israel the canary in the mine shaft, because it happens to Israel first. It happens to the rest of the world, but it happens to Israel first.
There was this guy in New York that just tried to explode himself on a train. So, we can see this is not just going to, rest in Israel. It's going to, unfortunately, challenge the world. But let's talk to you, Kfir, about how you come into play here. So you're a Krav Maga expert. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I began my more professional career in combat in the army. Ever since I was 5, I was training in martial arts, but in the army I was specializing in real-time operations. We understood what's relevant, what's not, what works, what is the theory, what is the reality. And we experienced everything on our flesh, like body, and also we didn't have any other option because every operation is concluded with violence, either with shooting or with physical contact. And so after the army, I began just to teach other people, not only law enforcement but also civilian, adapting this knowledge to civilian, and right now I'm the head chief instructor of Instinct Integrated Israel Combatives, which provides instructions basically worldwide.
So Krav Maga, what does that mean?
In Hebrew, Krav is combat and Maga is contact. Basically, you need to do everything in order to protect yourself. We talk about your hands are like bricks and your legs are metal poles, and your everything in your environment is a weapon. For example, even this paper is a weapon. You can unfold, you can fold it a couple of times. I can use it as a knife. This table you can use, throw to your opponent. So everything is a weapon. And Krav Maga teaches you the priority of combat, what to do, what's less smart to do. And this really saves lives. It's not a theory.
So let's talk about saving lives. Where were you when this incident that brought you to stand with us? The reason you're with us is because we saw what you did in Israel. You did something extraordinary, and probably, it was an incredible thing, and may inspire other people to get involved in Krav Maga. That's for sure. But tell us what happened.
I was on my way to actually pay my tuition to the university in Rishon LeZion, and I heard a lot of shouts, like in the serious shouts of people in the central station of Rishon LeZion, which is a central city in Israel, and I understood that something occurred. It was time of a lot of stabbings, a lot of terror attacks, so I assumed that it was a terror attack. I jumped out of my car and I was trying to locate the incident. Then I recognized the terrorist because he was wearing, it was hot weather, and he was wearing a black coat. This is a matter of recognition of a suspicious side. So I recognized him running very aggressively, and I also spotted the moment when he stabbed a lady in her back, and she crashed immediately to the floor. And this moment I understood that this is the real thing, that I'm gonna have to go 100%. And I made the decision that I knew that I either am going to be killed or severely injured, because with knives every movement counts, it's
They can take a finger, they can,
It's really, it's very hard to get out of a knife attack without getting hurt. I was aware of that. This is what I teach to my students. 1 week before, I had a knife seminar. I told my students, you can never know when it's going to happen and where. So you be ready.
So now we're going to leave the audience in suspense. We're going to take a break, and we're going to come right back to you, and you'll tell us what happened when you decided to chase after a terrorist with a knife with your bare hands. Don't go away. We'll be right back. I'm Roz Rothstein. This is Stand With Us on JLTV. Welcome back to Stand With Us on JLTV. We're here with Michael Dixon, our Executive Director of the Stand With Us office in Israel, across from the King David Hotel. You need to visit us when you're there.
Absolutely.
Come say hello. Say, I watched you on JLTV, Michael Dixon. And we're here with Kfir&Michael, who is telling us an extraordinary story about how he chased after a terrorist with his bare hands. So wait a second. So you were in your car. I did not know that part of it. I thought you were on foot. So you're in your car, you see crowds running, and then you catch sight of a terrorist with a dark shirt or something. And go ahead.
I didn't recognize him when I was in my car. I jumped out of my car to look for the danger. So what was the problem? And I was trying to locate, and then I located him because he was running very aggressively with his black coat. I was already out of my car by this time, and I began the chase.
Okay, so you're running after him. You see him stab an elderly lady. You see her fall to the ground and she's not moving. We are going to look at this video in a few minutes. We're going to look at the very video of what you saw because there's a tape. It's amazing. Michael, how did they get this tape?
We got it from CCTV.
Okay, so for some reason there was a tape in this moment following you, following the terrorist. It's quite extraordinary that this tape even exists. Okay, so now you chase after the terrorist. What happened first?
I jumped over the elderly lady. Like I saw her on the ground. I was, for a split of a second, I thought maybe I would help her, but in combat we
That
have
you would help her.
help her.
Not hurt her. Help her.
Yeah, of
Yeah.
course not. And but in combat we have priorities. First, you neutralize the object, the opponent, and then you go back to help the wounds. It was hard because
You wanted to help the old lady, but
it's
Yes.
very
this other guy was going to hurt other people.
So he was running, chasing other people to start. He was very fast, and I jumped over her and I began the chase. And then I came closer to him, and then I shouted at him. So he turned towards me because I understood that he's going to kill these people. They were running.
He's going to kill more people.
Yeah,
He
they
was
were
gonna kill more
running
people.
unaware of who's chasing them.
Right.
So, because it was a big mess. And he turned around, and then I jumped with the push kick to his chest. And that moment, the table was turned because I managed, with the help of God, to transmit to him, look, I'm going to take you down. I'm going to win here, no matter what. So, at that moment, I recognized the fear in his eyes. From an attacker, he became a defender. And this is a key point in combat as well, to turn your, to make your attacker the defender. Things go much easier. So he fled into the store and tried to stab the cashier. She was, God bless, only scratched. And I took the stand with product. It was like a pharmacy with creams and other products, and so I took it and I used it to basically to just crush his face. His weak points in his face, and I saw that he doesn't feel any pain. And
He doesn't care. You mean he doesn't care?
he was still trying to stab,
Still trying to stab.
but he doesn't feel the pain. You can see that he doesn't feel the pain.
He had adrenaline, so he wasn't feeling what you were doing to him.
Then I understood that I had to cut the oxygen supply because this is the only thing that's going to work.
So you choked him.
Yeah, I choked him, direct choke. After I had to take out the knife. And it was all like a lot of creams all over my body, and we were it was very slippery.
Creams on your body. Oh, from the products that
Pharmacy.
fell down.
It broke
Got
in
you.
and all the glasses
Oh my
cut.
gosh. Did you get cut?
Yeah, all my body. I didn't know by the time that I was fighting, but after that I was seeing that I'm bleeding from the products over there, and also
Wow.
the object that people threw at him got me first because I was.
Oh God. Everybody's trying to help and they're hurting.
But I
That's
felt
terrible. Everybody's trying to help and they're hurting you.
good. Yeah, but I understood that they're on my side, so it felt good. So I choked him until, and then I initiated another movement from behind. I choked. I fell on my back just to get in the position, closed my legs, and choked him until he passed out.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. So we're going to see the footage of the story you just told us right now. So please watch this with us, this amazing footage that exists.
I was in Rishon LeZion, my hometown. Then I saw all the people disappear, like run and escape. This is a big suspicious sign. Everybody ran out. I was 100% sure that this is a terrorist when I recognized that he's stabbing an old lady from behind. And she immediately fell. This moment was pretty hard for me to leave her on the ground. You should not stand idly by the blood of your neighbor. לא תעמוד על דם רעך. It's a big rule. It's a big mitzvah in the Torah, and we're Jewish. These values lead us through our lives. I have the duty to intervene. It doesn't matter how strong you are, how trained you are. When you see an old lady fall on the ground, then you have to help her. But about to stab more people. I wanted to distract him so he can concentrate on me. So I shouted at him. I shouted, "Hey!" And then he immediately turned around. That moment I decided that I'm going all the way, 100%. During this moment I understand that I'm probably going to be killed. At that moment I jumped with a push kick. He fled to the store, tried to stab the cashier, and I took the stand. I used that as a barrier. Then it was like a fight over the knife. Then I just had to sweep it off. Then I initiated another move for the rear naked choke. This is the mataleo. I laid on my back, I choked him until he passed out. This is an enemy which is determined. But I will fight him and I will win. We are fighting our war here and you're fighting our war there, over the sea. We are together as a unit, we stand with you here in Israel and you stand with us.
That is incredible. The fact that the footage exists is just, it's mind-boggling that we went from watching you on the street to watching you in the store. I mean, these days, it's amazing that even anybody would attempt to do anything
And you
bad.
ran into danger to save other people.
And you ran into danger. So that's really the key point. This is so heroic. And Michael, you made the point at the gala that when children ask, "Daddy, is somebody going to attack us with a knife?" you answer that there are people like Kfir who are heroes in Israel that are going to make sure that that does not happen. So, I
They're
mean,
protecting us every day, and we couldn't be more thankful that there are people like this.
the supermen and women of the Israeli army and of the Israeli people. So
Absolutely.
thank you so much, Kfir. We're not finished with you. We have a lot more questions, but I know we need to go to break right now. So we will be right back. Don't leave us on Stand With Us right here on JLTV. Welcome back to Stand With Us on JLTV. We're here with our executive director from our Israeli office, Michael Dixon, and Kfir from Israel, who is quite a hero. I hope that you were here in the earlier segments. We saw how he chased down a terrorist, how he got him down to the ground, and the police were able to pick him up. And I know that you told briefly during the break a story about how the police, needed to kind of intervene, and you were holding him down, and how that kind of worked between you. Do you want to say anything about that?
Basically, the only worry I had is that he will proceed the stabbing. So I had to, when he passed out, I understood that it's less dangerous, but during that, the police officer arrived, and due to the fact that it was a big mess over there, it was unclear what's going on. And I shouted at them, search him. You have to search him, because I felt maybe he has an explosive belt.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, this is the moment that search him, because they were they were in a rush to put handcuffs.
Right.
So the handcuffs is good until a certain point. Before the handcuff, before you, let's say, declare that he's clean, you need to search him very carefully, and maybe he had another knife. And they searched him, and then he passed out. Then he was back to conscious, and he tried to take more glasses, to take back and cut me.
Even
And
with the police standing over him and you
yeah, it
holding
was,
him
you
down.
know, he wanted to die. He was his
determined.
purpose, you know. And I was afraid to get a shot from the police officers
Oh my gosh.
because they were with their gun, and I just search him while I'm choking him. And we used to that during operations. We did that a lot. At this time I was a civil, and it was different because I'm not with uniforms.
Right.
I'm not sure they understand. I'm
Who
not the
you are.
terrorist. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And this was a serious moment that I had to communicate with them. And
Wow. Those are the details that people don't get to know. They just think, okay, you're this great guy, just, you know, you pull down a terrorist, but they don't get to know those little details that in the end it was very confusing, and that this guy is still, no matter what's going on, trying to still do
Determined.
bad things to people.
this is why there's a point that neutralized terrorist is there's a gray area. It's hard to declare neutralized. I think that the only way you can declare he's neutralized when he's dead, or handcuffed after search. So I'm saying that also to law enforcement people, that they need to not rush with declaring neutralized. We had so many cases of terrorists waking up or taking a gun or a knife out after they were declared as neutralized. This is on the professional level, it is a wrong act to do, to rush and declare. So either dead or search with handcuffed with after search.
Huh. Okay, well, that's very, very important advice. Even our professionals need to, you know, have all those steps in place.
And the Israeli police honored Kfir after this incident,
Oh.
and now he's been teaching law enforcement professionals around the world, which is amazing.
So even today you're teaching from here, from this chair. So thank you for everything. And now you're also teaching Krav Maga around the world. So tell us a little bit about that. And of course, I'm sure that some of our audience is going to be completely inspired. Doesn't matter how old you are, right? Doesn't matter.
No.
You just get involved. It'll help you keep in shape and also, you know, maybe defend yourself at some point, right?
Yeah, I had one guy, 81 years old, in one of my seminars, actually in Chicago. And so there's no age for that. And I highly recommend to everyone to try and train Krav Maga. This is Krav Maga. It's not only just the fight itself. It's a matter of living. I think it's a general coaching style, I believe. Me personally, in Instinct, we incorporate a lot of knowledge and insights from NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, understanding the subconscious mind. Because, for example, in such cases, you can do in class 10,000 times the same movement, but in real time, in field, your body might betray you, might refuse to perform what you learned because of incoherent training. So the point is to recognize what is your instinct, what is your inherent instincts, to recognize them and to work with them, to improve them and not oppose them, not trying to train your body to do things that it would refuse in real time. Because in real time, the real characteristics comes out, and also the natural movements of the body comes out.
Amazing. So Kfir, thank you so much for joining us today. Continue protecting yourself and the people of Israel. We're counting on you and others like you, and thank you so much for being a symbol of that. And Michael Dixon, thank you so much for joining us again, and we hope that you'll come back
Absolutely.
again. And you too, Kfir. And safe flights home.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
for joining us, and we'll see you next time right here at Stand With Us on JLTV.